welcome to the third review of the evening. Up this time is Hoggy2. Right, so you might be wondering, what is Hoggy? What is the Hoggy series? Well, Hoggy is a very cute puzzle platformer thing. Um, Origins on the mobile platform, which is the second time this has happened tonight. Like, it's just weird how these things line up. But yeah, so this is a series of games that originated on iOS and Android, eventually transferred over to Steam, 2017 in that case, and has just recently saw release on the all consoles. Not like about half a year ago. Yeah, released July 23rd, 2019, which was what, about 8 months ago?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Point is, this is also had a bit of a name change with the console version merged the two with the Hoggy together, whereas like the mobile and Steam versions have it spaced. I don't know what that's about. It is weird. But anyway,
I have an objection to raise. The playable character is insufficiently like a hog.
Right, they're more bubblegum slug things. Like, I'm not exactly sure what a Hoggy and a Hogatha are in terms of species. Like, it says a pink slime. I guess that works. You know, I don't know. I just see bubblegum, chewed up bubblegum with these characters more than anything else. Anyway, the console versions were ported by our longtime frenemy, Ratalakia Games. Yeah, so another one of those. And in keeping with their not so much design philosophy, but seemingly how they pick games, this is a very simple affair. If you've played VVVVVV or Low G Man or that Gravity Man stage from Mega Man 5, you'll know the central mechanic here, and that is gravity flipping. I don't know why the puzzles are reliant on flipping up and down, but they are. Your guess. There could be a lore reason. I don't think it matters. Right. But Hoggy2 is about these slimes dealing with some moon men that have kidnapped their children, and your job is to go to the moon and figure out some puzzles. Once again, applying realistic logic isn't really sacrosanct in terms of premise here. Your job is to go through a bunch of Mario 2 jars and figure out the puzzles we're in, and you figure out the puzzles by eating all the fruit, and somehow that generates a key.
Yeah, don't ask me how that happens.
Yeah, this game is just one long string of Mad Libs in terms of how it's all put together. But as far as the puzzles go, those are thankfully very logic based. You don't have to worry about straining your brain in terms of wondering what the developer was thinking in terms of putting it together, in terms of mechanics or anything like that. Now, in terms of how the puzzles are structured, it's got a simple mechanic: flip up and down to get fruit, but that's compounded by various things like objects like bricks, various enemies, some of which you use in the puzzles. Things like blocks of glass, which shatter if you drop on them, and are usually inserted with spikes. So you got, it's like you got to deal with bullet enemies. Power-ups. There are a couple of power-ups in the games. There is the cherry power-up, which you use to break bricks, and you turn square. This also has an important distinction because when you're a pinks or purple slime, you can actually move left and right to a degree of variance, and that actually does factor into the puzzle solving.
Mhm.
Whereas if you're the big square thing, you can only go up and down. And yes, once again, there are puzzles where that is a factor in completing it. There is also the hot chili pepper power up, which lights everything on fire, and is one of the only ways to deal with bombs. On the inverse, that will also destroy fruit, and if you eat fruit while flaming hot, you will destroy said fruit. And there's all sorts of different puzzle mechanics here. It's got a shockingly diverse array of variety for a puzzle game, and that's compounded with the size of the game. Um, while it's a simple affair, and indeed the actual level construction is very bite-sized, the overall game is very big. I think it clocks in at about 280 puzzle rooms, if I'm recalling correctly, and that's just what's in the game. Um, this is compounded by a level editor and an online sharing community. And I believe that is across all platforms, not just something that's stuck on the PC version. Though I imagine it's probably easiest to make levels on the PC version.
Mm-hmm.
But, so there's a whole lot of game to this game. And so with that in mind, I'll turn over things to Petty Fan because he is reviewing the PlayStation 4 version specifically.
Yeah, so this game is pretty simple. It's just move and jump. X flips you up and down and so on.
Mm. Up and down also move you up and down. And let me tell you, don't play this game with an Xbox 360 controller and its horrible fucking D-pad.
Yeah, that's not a problem on the PC version.
Ha ha ha! Imprecise D-pad.
Or PS4 version, rather.
I don't know. My version of the game doesn't pick up my Xbox One controller, picks up my Xbox 360 controller. Make of that what you will. Anyway, Petty, continue.
Yeah, this one also has the level editor. I don't know if you can get levels from PC on here.
From what I see, it's crossplay in terms of level support.
Mm.
Like I see the byline for like the mobile versions and the PC version and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And one thing that's kind of not great about it is how limited your like movement in the air is. But that's more I'm used to the insert however many V's this thing the other game has.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it's more puzzly than trying to platform.
Yeah. Oh, right. It was the acorn power up, not the cherry.
Yeah.
Game. My mistake. Anyway, though I see you're taking on the boss battle, I'll admit the boss battles are the worst part of the game, bar none. They're not terrible, but they are the weakest part of a game that is trying to be more puzzle than action combat sort of game.
I mean, there's a reason that Viva V mostly has dodging spikes rather than bosses.
Yeah. Now, one thing I'm wondering is, so when you get a ways into Hoggy2 on the PC, you will encounter a door. And the door will ask you to do a certain social media thing for the game. And if you do that, you will gain access to the what they call the relic rooms. Or rather, it is a remade version of the Hoggy1 puzzles. And I'm presuming that is in the console versions of the game. It's just probably access a bit easier than the PC version. Because, I didn't see any... I didn't see any differences in terms of room count. And there was about 30 or 40 of those levels. So that's a pretty significant chunk of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, as far as I suppose my thoughts on the game, this was a pretty solid puzzle game. Like a lot more solid than I thought it was going to be, given its pedigree and its simplicity. But it's like this is more the Nintendo philosophy of game design rather than the Ratalaika Games ethos. That is to say, it's got a lot of simplicity to it, but it builds upon that simplicity and makes it into a rather complex thing when all of the interlinking parts come together. You know, it's got a dead simple premise, but it actually makes creative use of it. You know, not for nothing, but a lot of the reason when we see Ratalaika games come up, we think vanilla. And I know they don't actually participate in the development of most of these projects, but Ratalaika's stuff has been more, oh hey, this is really dead simple, and it just stayed dead simple and lasted for about an hour. You know, that has its positive points as well, but I honestly think this is better game design than most of what they handle or choose to handle.
Right.
So where would you rate this game, Petty?
I'd probably be a little bit lower than you just because I wish it had a little better movement. But all in all, it's still a pretty good game.
Fair enough. Like I was fine with the movement because that's part of the, that's part of the game set here. Like the puzzles and everything are built around the design of the movement. So, that being said, surprise points. Right. So the game clocks in at $4.99, and I'm pleased to report that has parity with the PC version. In regards to the mobile version, I'm guessing that's how much the. Okay, so this game is ostensibly free on mobile devices, but it's also got in-game ads. Like every level, it'll play an in-game ad, kind of deal. But you can remove that with a one-time purchase. Apparently, I can only presume that is $5 because.
So you're paying with your time if you don't pay with money.
Basically, that's a pretty common mobile thing. Yeah, here we go. Found that it's $4.99 per item, which means it's $4.99 to get rid of the ads. So it actually has price parity across all platforms, which is impressive, especially considering the last game we covered. So yeah, honestly, I would say grab the mobile version of the game or the Switch version, because honestly, I thought this game would play best on a portable device.
The only control is jump and left, right?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Jump / flip. Because that's what happens when you jump.
Yeah, left, right, up, down. Now, on mobile devices, that is handled by virtual buttons from what I saw. Like, so, if you have an issue with that kind of thing, it is there. Rather than,
say if it had anything about controller support on mobile?
I would imagine it has controller support, but let me see here. In-game ads, free app requires Game Center. I'm not sure where they put the support controller listings on mobile pages. Let's see. Smooth live research. Yes. This app is compatible with this device. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if this has controller support, but I imagine it would. Yeah. So overall, yeah, I give this a solid recommend, no matter what the platform. Quite honestly.
Yeah, I will say, looking at the PS4 level editor thing, it wasn't showing me anything that I could actually put in other levels that have already been custom made. So if that's the case, then PS4 version
Maybe,
might not be the way to go.
yeah, maybe level sharing's only on like the PC version or something, but at the very least, that is level sharing is a thing that is universal. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that'll about do it for Hoggy2. So be sure to tune in after the break, as our last game of the evening will be Luna, the Shadow Dust.